Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, for the second day of our Advent calendar, I thought we could revisit a concept we've talked about before, which is Hygge. So, the concept of making our life very, very cozy. And like last time, I have a cup with hot water here. I'm going to add some tea. And I figured it's only fitting if we use some nighttime tea. And then we have some Christmas cookies here that I'm gonna try later. And we have a couple of candles. So I picked out this book here, which is a bit of a sort of arts and crafty kind of book with suggestions of how to make your home more hyggelig. And it has ideas like this one, putting a Christmas tree in a pot into your home, so adding some wintry decorations. It has a recipe for cinnamon rolls. Cinnamon being a scent that I think most people associate very much with winter and Christmas. So from what I understand, in Scandinavia it's always time to have cinnamon rolls. It also has a recipe for mulled wine, again with cinnamon, with oranges, star anise, and pomegranate seeds. You would use some dry red wine, some lemon, some oranges, a bit of sugar, cinnamon, cloves, and you can use something like amaretto too. So this is very popular around here. And it continues with suggestions for wrapping your presents, creating some decorations. But I thought I want to know a little bit more about the specifics of what makes Christmas hyggelig or not. And this is a little too superficial for me. So let's get out my other book again. here we have the little book of Hyyge, the Danish way to live well. And we've gone through this before, but the specifics of what makes life cozy. You can have a look at that later if you feel like you need a little bit more ASMR. But today we're gonna skip to chapter 11, the Christmas chapter. And it does say here that for people in Denmark, this is definitely a wonderful time. They would describe it as happy, cheerful, warm, and heartfelt. And in Denmark especially, it's also hyggelig. But I think one aspect that is actually quite important to understand this concept is that in Denmark, December is not necessarily a cozy month per se. It says here, the days are so short, you will be lucky to catch a glimpse of the sun. Riding your bike to and from work in the cold and wet and in complete darkness, you begin to question why anybody ever thought that settling in Denmark would be a good idea. Yes, I know, in Denmark it's not minus 30 degrees outside, nor are we troubled with hurricanes and tsunamis. But living here, you do get the sense that the weather gods have taken a certain disliking to the Danes, that they want us to feel miserable and uncomfortable at least 1 month a year. And depending on where you live, I can kind of identify with this. It's not quite as dark as further north, of course, but the sun does go down early, and I know for a lot of people it does mean that they leave home in the darkness and they get back home when it's dark again. So you really don't get a lot of sunlight. Plus, even when we do get snow, which in Vienna is a bit rare, it tends to melt and it just gets a bit, grey and mushy. It's not very inviting. However, it continues here. As unlikely as it sounds, this is the season of Hygge in Denmark. They simply will not let the weather or the laws of nature define their emotional well-being. Therefore, instead of going into hibernation, which does indeed seem appealing on damp December mornings, Danes have decided to make the best of things. So, says here, chestnuts, a fireplace, friends and family coming together around a table of delicious treats, decorations of red, green and gold, the fresh scent of pine from the Christmas tree, carols everybody knows, and the broadcasting of the very same TV shows as last year and every year before that. These are the features of a fairly ordinary Christmas all over the world. And that's also true for Denmark. But there are also a couple of Christmas traditions which are specifically Danish. And it says one part of that is that a Danish Christmas will always be planned, thought of and evaluated in relation to the concept of Hygge. There's even a specific word for it, which is julehygge, so Christmas Hygge. And it explains what exactly that means. So one aspect is to have family and friends come together. Every year in the second half of December, a full-blown migration takes place in Denmark. People originally from other parts of Denmark who usually live in Copenhagen pack their stuff, plus tons of presents, and jump on the train towards their hometown. I can attest that this is true here too. if you get on a train on the 24th of December, this is what it's going to look like. So it's important, especially at Christmas, to share it with people that you feel safe around and that make you feel comfortable. It says time and time again, the quality of our social relations has been shown to be one of the best predictors for our emotional well-being. And I know for some people it can be a bit stressful with family. Maybe there's also just not much family to be with, or maybe you've had a falling out. And I think it's all the more important to find friends and to find company to share this time with. And then there's a chapter on traditions. One very important part being food. Interestingly, it says here that a Danish Christmas consists of very heavy food, and from the sounds of it, quite a lot of it. Plus some traditions around it, like having riz à la menthe with a hidden almond in it, and whoever finds it has good luck for the next year. Here where I live, we definitely have some traditions around food too, like specific recipes for our Christmas cookies. Like recipes for a mulled wine or a punch. And of course, specific foods that we have on Christmas Eve. But we'll get to that another time. Then we have decorations. So in Denmark, those would be elves or gnomes, animals, Father Christmas, mini nativity figures and cornets and woven hearts made of glossy paper. These seem to be really specific to Denmark. I think there's a little also a little how-to. It's a Christmas woven hearts, if you want to try these. And then they have something like our Advent wreath. There's a candle with 24 numbers on them, so you can count down to Christmas and light it every day. But the part I find the most interesting is this here, the race to relax. It has us getting a bit out of breath reading about all the necessities for a Danish Christmas. All the things I've sketched out here do contribute to the pressure for Hygge around Christmas. And I think that's something a lot of people feel too, even if they don't celebrate a Danish Christmas, that there are a lot of expectations around it. But also I think when we think of December, yes, there's the cold, there's the darkness, there's usually a lot of pressure in other ways too. People are extremely busy. Going shopping can be a true ordeal. Finding the right presents for people. It all can add to something you could call Anti-Hygge. However, it says here, there must be Anti-Hygge for Hygge to be valuable. Life might seem stressful, it might seem unsafe and unfair. Life is often centered on money and social status. But life is none of these things in moments of Hygge. Remember my friend who commented that the only way our time in the cabin could be more hyggelig was if a storm broke outside. This is Hygge. The more it sets the here and now apart from the tough realities of the outside world, the more valuable it becomes. In this way, achieving Hygge would not be possible without all the bustle and turmoil leading up to Christmas. It is the awareness of all the money, stress, work and time being sacrificed in the preparations for Christmas that enables Hygge as a climatic alternative. Hygge is postponed in order to be accomplished. Knowing friends and family have worked hard all December in order to get together and not focus on work, money and all things profane is the meaning of Hygge. And I really like this idea that it's not just the balance between two different things, between the dark outside and the candlelight that we set up here inside, between the really busy shopping streets and the quietness of actual Christmas. It's that they actually need one another in order for us to really enjoy these moments. So with that, I think we're going to close off this chapter for today. I'm going to enjoy my tea and some of these Christmas cookies. And then I think I'm going to go and snuggle up in bed and enjoy these quiet December evenings. Let me know what you're going to do. And for now, I wish you a very enjoyable evening, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.